Hello and welcome to my new video in Hearts of Iron 4. How to play as China in the multiplayer and beat almost every single Japan. If we wanna know how to beat Japan as China, first we have to look on what will Japan do. So, for his army, he will probably do the 14th Force Division. That means he will have 4 artillery and 4 infantry in his division. This division isn't very good against tanks, but because we have no tanks as China, it's a good choice from him because like this he has a lot of soft attack, so our divisions will get a lot of damage. Now we are gonna look at his air force. The Air Force can actually be Japan's weakness because usually as Japan you don't research fighter ones. Japan does not have fighter ones research in the start, but you go for the zero focus, which gives you carrier fighters. By this, Japan doesn't have to waste his research on fighters, and he uses his carrier fighters for everything. But this actually means that like until 1939 he won't have a very good fighter squadrons. And we can use this. The first thing that you would probably thought about would be to research fighter ones ourselves and get air superiority over China. But this might not be that easy because the Japan has many more fighters than us. Our fighters may be better, but even if we would get air superiority, it would give us almost nothing. The air superiority slows down the divisions a little bit, so the Japanese divisions would be a little bit slower, but like that isn't super important. So we are not gonna do that, but we're gonna research tactical bombers. Why tactical bombers? Because the Japan has only interwar fighters. If we have tactical bombers, one, we can bomb his divisions even if he has air superiority, because his interwar fighters won't be able to intercept our tactical bombers. And that means that we can kill his divisions, bomb his ports, even bomb his navy in Japan with our tactical bombers, and his fighters will be useless. Also, in some games, Russia might send us some fighters, and with the help of Russian fighters, we can even get air superiority. So, how are we gonna do this? Well, I will start with the focus. The first focus that we want to rush is expand the Academica Sinica, because by that we get one free research slot. And that's really important if we want to go for tactical bombers. So we will start with Unified Industrial Planning. As you can see, the Unified Industrial Planning gives us bonuses for industry. So the first thing we are gonna research are not gonna be tactical bombers, but the first industry research. The reason for this is that the production research takes less time than industry and construction researches. So we want to use the bonuses from the unified industrial planning probably on concentrated industry 1 and concentrated industry 2, not on basic machine tools. So we're gonna start researching basic machine tools. And the second thing we need to research is land doctrine. For China, the mass assault is probably the best, so we will go for pocket defense. Now we will look at the factories. We will build only mills because the war with Japan will start soon and we need to get ready. So we will build mills. But where? Usually you build in regions with the highest infrastructure. But that's not the case of China. The China has big debuffs in the start against Japan, mainly army corruption, which really cripples our army by lowering its attack by 50 and its defense by 50. So usually the Japan will push us. So we want to build all our industry in region around Chongqing because there we can finally hold. If we look on the where is the industry now, we can see that it is mainly in this region. All our military factories are down here. Here are no military factories. So we are gonna build only in this region. I usually don't build in Wuhan either because it's still quite vulnerable to enemy attacks. I like to build mainly in these 4 zones. Sometimes if I think I can hold, I build in Yangtze and Hubei too, but that depends on the situation against Japan. Yeah. So the next thing is gonna be our military factories. So as China, we want to produce mainly guns because we will need a lot of infantry. Here it's quite optional, you can put the interwar fighter factory on guns. I usually like to leave it at the interwar fighter before we switch it to tactical bombers. Before we have tactical bombers research, then I switch this to tactical bombers. So we have some interwar fighters in reserve, for example, for intercepting Japanese bombers. But it's optional. It depends. If you want more guns, then put it on guns. You will still get the full efficiency. If you like to have more fighters, then the fighters aren't very good, but they will still help. So I will leave it like this. Well, another thing that we need to do is buy 2 steel from Soviet Union because Soviets are gonna be our allies and we need this for our industry. Well, now we can look at the ships. Ships aren't too important, but sometimes you can try to raid Japanese convoys if Japan isn't careful. You can build convoys from the start, or you can let this one ship finish. It depends on your choice. It isn't important. I usually let this ship finish and then I build convoys, but maybe it's better to build convoys only. So now we are ready to start. Now I can launch the game and I will talk about the army. It isn't worth it to do the one division training for China because the war with Japan comes quite early. So yeah. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our army. We will delete the cavalry and we will split our army into two armies. One which will contain all these divisions that have this red thing. The red thing means that they will be reinforced later than the other divisions. These divisions will be our port garrisons, and we will train 5 more port garrisons. The other 24 divisions will be the main line battle force, and for now we will put them in this forest so Japan does not see what divisions we have. Uh, yeah, you can put these divisions, for example, to Nanjing. The important thing now is to train all these divisions with shift and click training. That means that only the divisions that aren't fully trained will train, and we will train them to be regular. So we finished our first focus. The second focus we are gonna take is gonna be expand the Academica Sinica because we want the research slot. Yeah, we're gonna train these divisions too. What I haven't talked about and it's important, this is a build for historical game. If the game you're playing is non-historical, then it's probably worth it to first rush the subjugate the warlords and then maybe do the research slot and then probably army reform, because if you can do subjugate, then you can get some army XP, and with the army XP you can get rid of army corruption before the war with Japan starts. Yeah, but I recommend doing the tactical bombers in that build too, because they can help you against the warlords and they are still good to have against Japan. But here I am talking mainly about the historical build. So we finished our first industrial focus, and now we are gonna take the concentrated industry one. We can prepare our generals. So our field marshal will be Tu Yumin, and this army will get the best general. We can even get naval admiral for free, but I don't really use my navy as China, but it's for free, so why not? We will now deploy these divisions, and we have finished the focus. The next focus we are gonna take is the three principles of the people, because we want the stability. As you can see now we have just 35%, and that lowers our factory output and political power gain. So we want to get rid of that. And we can use the new research slot to research tactical bombers. We don't need to buy new steel from Soviet Union because we still have enough. And now I will put the newly trained divisions into this army and train them too. And I will take 9 divisions from this army and put the other 24 divisions to our second best field marshal. So one field marshal will be for defense and the other will be for the main line. These divisions will get this guy, and oh yeah, now I have enough political power to take the first economy law. That's the most important thing because it now we have minus 30 research speed for not research construction speed for military factories, and if we can get partial mob we will get plus 10 construction speed. So that means that it goes up by like 40%. That's super important. Yeah, so we're gonna take that. What I forgot to say, it's optional too. Before you take the partial mob, maybe as a first thing, you can create an agency. I usually do that, and I usually do just the first two cryptology department things, but it's best to do that before the partial mob because if we do that when we are on civilian economy, then we use our factories in better way. Yeah, but you don't really have to do it. It's optional too. Yeah. If you wanna see what Japan is doing, then do it. If you want more factories, then don't do it. Depends on you. So now I'm gonna put the second field marshal here on these 9 divisions. Just 9 divisions, so the field marshal doesn't have to be great. And we can run the time. So now I will prepare my defenses on the coast. So I will take 5 divisions, put them like this. Take 3 divisions, put them here, and 1 division here. Now we are sure that this area is defended. We need to defend the land around the ports too because Japan usually likes to land here and, for example, encircle our divisions. So we finished another research, and now we can go for the next concentrated industry. Now we have enough command power, so we can put some trades to our general. These two are useful. And we finished another focus. That means that now we will take the democracy focus because we want the political power from it. So now these divisions will be trained, and I can train more divisions for the battlefront. These divisions are for the battlefront, these are the port garrisons, so we want the battlefront divisions. We don't really need to change the template. I usually put 2 more infantry here, so we have 16 waves, but you don't really want to change it too much because we want to save the XP for army reform, not for changing the templates. Now I will set up my port defense here. Yeah, Now we finished the first factories. Because we did a concentrated industry, we can still build in these other zones, but I usually build in these zones too later. Uh, the last thing that we have to do is to take our Air Force and train it. We want to have experienced Air Force even before the war. The fighters, I usually left them on 100. Uh, yeah, because I like when I have some in reserve, but and and when they get ace, it's the most efficient. And then I take the tactical bombers and put them on 1000, so the new bombers can reinforce that squadron. I will continue with setting my for defense now. So I put like 3 divisions on and around every port, like this. And we finished another focus. Great. So now we have enough PP to take the popular figurehead, which will give us more stability. And like I said, it's really important. And we can take the executive Yunan to have more PP. We don't really need the silent warhorse. Yeah, it's again optional. As the next political advisor, you can do either silent warhorse or, for example, the military terrorist. It depends. If you believe you can hold Japan in the start, then it's worth it to do the silent workhorse because it's better in the long run. If you want to have the best power for the start of the war, then take either the First Lady of the Republic or the military tourist. I usually prefer the military theories because it speeds up the doctrine and it gives army XP. So I will continue now with setting my defense. So now I will put one more division into the important ports. And 2 divisions to the port of Shanghai because that's the most favorite port for Japan to land. Now we have the tactical bombers. I should have looked on that earlier, and we can put our new factories on the tactical bombers. Maybe I could have done this earlier to put 2 factories on the anti-air instead of on guns. So now I will put 2 factories on anti-air. I could have done that already when they were built. It's probably better to do it like that. And I will put 4 factories on tactical bombers. And all the next factories will go again on infantry equipment. So now I will research electronic mechanical engineering. But another important thing that I want to do is to research the newer guns and put just the new factories on the newer guns because the guns one are much better than these guns. But these guns, if we have a full efficiency on them, it's worth it to leave these factories on them. So we will put just the newly built factories on the new guns. I won't really put anti-tank, anti-air into my divisions now, but later I can. I think I will take improved machine tools now to get better efficiency. And now we trained some more divisions, so these divisions will be trained and they will go to the main line too. So our airplanes are trained. That's nice. And soon the tactical bombers will be reinforced with more planes. We can put these fighters into this zone. So now I will take the nationalism. And we can take the next PP guy. I usually go for military tourist. Yeah. It's probably worth it to do the agency in the start, so you can do the civilian intelligence branch, so you can see what Japan is doing. But it's optional. Yeah, if you wanna know what he's doing, do it. If you don't want it, don't do it. But if you wanna do it, it's best in the start. Oh, I think I don't wanna take this. I wanna take. Well, maybe yeah, I can go for that. It's fine. Yeah, so we finished our first intelligence upgrade. So now what I want is the civilian intelligence. That means that I will see what focus is Japan doing, even if he is not on free trade. If you think he will go on free trade, which is on like every historical game when the Japan is a good player, then you don't have to do this. But usually it's worth it to know when he's coming for you. The second two things which we will do is the form department and radio interception group, so we can encrypt the Japanese cipher and use it, um, for example, to stop the Japanese breakthrough. Now we have a few more divisions. We will train them and make the third army with Wei Lianhang. He has the infantry leader, so he gains XP faster. So he's better than the second officer. So now we can set up our defenses. Our defenses will go like this. First, we can now take the military affairs commission if Japan isn't coming. If he is coming, then do the foreign threats. So we can do the united front later. Yeah. And we will take a new agent. We will use him just for defense, so probably seducer. So he seduces Japanese that come in. Um, yeah, we will set up our defenses like this. The first army will go like this. Yeah, I can take the cipher now. The second army will go like this. This tile is really important. We don't want to lose this tile because there is an airfield there. And this airfield is probably the best airfield for the northern China region. So we don't want to lose it. And this third army will be the reserve army. And it will defend this. It will defend these territories. Now I can probably take the infantry weapons one because I want to put these new factories on the infantry weapons, and I will buy one aluminium for my airplanes. I will buy only one aluminium for my airplanes. That's the reason why we are doing 4 factories on military bombers, because we will have -4 rubber and -4 aluminium. So we will, if you have 2 resources that you don't have, it's just like the same as if you would have just 1 resources -4. So it's worth it to do it like this. Yeah. Yeah, we will have some debuff for it, but it's not gonna be that bad. And so now we have this reserve army here. We can make our template bigger to and start deciphering Japan. Like I said, you can do this in the start. It's maybe better to do the intelligence in the start when you are on civilian economy, but I forgot about it, so I did it now. And we will put our new divisions into this army and train the untrained divisions. Now we have 150 PP again. I think I will take the Somailin now. But as the next guy, we want probably the infantry expert. You can go for the silent workhorse too, but I already talked about that. It's worth it only when Japan isn't coming too fast. Yeah. Usually Japan gives you 9 or 10 focuses, and AI Japan gives you only 8 focuses. So normally we would have done this before United Front, and then we will do the army reform. I will put all my divisions, all my newly trained divisions into this army. And because the Japanese are coming, I will speed run the training. And I will put one more infantry here. Now what you can do, we will duplicate this, name, do a duplicate of that template, make a new template, and then when we have enough XP, we can put the support anti-air into that template, and we will convert just as many divisions to have, so they will all have enough anti-air. So one of them needs, they will need 20 anti-air. So if we will have like 200 anti-air guns in the stockpile, we can convert 10 divisions on the anti-air division type. Yeah, we convert just as much, so to have enough anti-air guns, because otherwise it's a waste of organization. Yeah, as you can see, we are close to the supply cap, but that's the reason why I like to have the 16 waves, because you can have 3 armies like this, and you still have enough supply. Yeah, you see it's close, but yeah, we should be fine. Sometimes what Japan does is they invade the Shanghai. By that, they destroy your infrastructure here, and then you don't have supply. If that happens, just build like 1 or 2 infrastructure in Yangtze, so you have enough. And we can build in these regions again. For the research, I would recommend radio because we want the rainforest rate. And we can switch only these guns on the newer guns. We still have the efficiency here, but the new factories will go here after we have our factories on tactical bombers. And now we can use our tactical bombers to bomb the port in Manchuria. If the Japan builds up the island, then bomb the Manchuria. If Japan builds up East Hebei, then bomb this area. That's the most important thing why we went on tactical bombers, because we can do 3 things with them. We can bomb the ports, we can do the ground support for our units, and maybe the most annoying thing is we can port strike the Japanese islands. So if Japan has any ships there, we will damage their ships and their ports too. So they will have to repair the ports and repair the ships. Uh, and we can switch these 3 things as we want. And I guarantee you that the Japanese fighters won't be able to protect the home islands, the Dailan, and the northern China in one time. By bombing the port, we will make sure that Japan does not have enough supply for his units, and that would be great for us. Yeah, now we're just waiting. Like I said, the normal players usually. Oh, well, China rejected the United Front. That sometimes happens, but hopefully, I don't know why it's when it's on historical focuses, but sometimes it happens, but it's not that big of a deal. Now we're gonna take the Military Affairs Commission, and the most important focus now is the army reform, because we want to use our XP for. Yeah. This I'm not very happy about this, but we cannot do too much about it. But just be aware if you send divisions to Shanxi when the United Front isn't formed, to not let Japanese encircle your divisions there if they break through, for example, like here. So then your divisions might be trapped in this area. So now the most important tile is this one. The Beijing is quite important too, because there are 2 factories in there, so we wanna hold that for as long as possible. Now I will talk about the defense tactics, which are important. If the Japanese are pushing somewhere, you can see, for example, the AI won't be able to push me, but if I would say Japan is pushing and my divisions are losing a lot, then I will look at the organization of the divisions, take some of them which have lower organization, which are for example these ones. That means that these divisions are in the combat, and I will put them in a new army, put a general for them, and click last. And by this, the divisions won't take organization, won't take damage on organization, but on their strength, and that means that our divisions can hold much longer, and the other divisions will be able to help them reinforce. Um, as the next focus, I would recommend support weapons to help our army more, and then if they stop attacking, you can just put them back into the main army. Just be sure to have some free generals for this action all the time, so you can last stand anytime you want. And as you can see, we are already bombing the port in Thailand, and that usually means when Japan has some 14th Force Division here, that he will take attrition, which is really great for us. Yes, we are defending the naval invasions. Like this is just AI, so it's pretty easy, but yeah, it kinda simulates the player too. And we will just wait. Usually when the Japan is good, he will first get rid of the Marco Polo and then he will attack. Because if he attacks before that, we can farm the army XP. What I usually do, I take like half divisions from this army and put them here. Yeah, now we can take the infantry expert. I will put them there. I do this because I want to farm some some XP by attacking with my divisions here. We really need the XP for the army reform, and you are usually able to farm enough XP to do the first army reform, sometimes even before the Japanese attack. So I just want to farm here. Like I said, I just have to be aware that Japan does not attack. Japan does not attack here, and then my divisions will be encircled here. Because, oh yeah, as we can see, another attack. So what I can do again is last stand these divisions. I don't have to create a new army for these divisions. That's why I like to have just 9 divisions here. We can last stand the whole army. The problem is that you don't have too much command power as China, so you can't really waste the command power. But as you can see now, we are defending fine. With the last and some reinforcements can go help there. Because it's AI, I'm not sending anything, but if it would not be AI, I would send something there. Yeah, probably the last thing I will give you as a tip in this video. If we start losing these tiles, which will usually happen, we can send this army even from here where we were farming on this line and prepare the second defense on the river. Now I have already enough army XP to put anti-air into my CSE divisions, and I will look and I see that I have 320 anti-air. If I divide that by 20, I will know that I can create 16 CSE divisions, so I will take some of these divisions, put some out, so I have 16, And I will convert 16 divisions into sessie. That means that they will have the anti-air. I can send some divisions here to protect the landing. Yeah, you have to be aware to not get encircled when Japan attacks you, but that mainly depends on your micro. Then you usually want to defend this line. If this line falls, you can go on this line. I would recommend to stay even, for example, something like this. If you lose, for example, this region, stay somehow like this, because this river is really the last defense, because if they can cross this river, there is our industry. So we really need to hold this river. That's, yeah, the last defense. Um, it's probably better to defend this area more than this area, like here, because there isn't too much industry here. So I would say it's better to retreat like this than to lose this region. Yeah. Because another thing is that from this region is really close to Chongqing, and that's not good because the most of our industry is in Chongqing, and usually you can do the last defense in Chongqing. But if you played it right, then you will probably be able to do the army reform on the second river line, maybe 2 army reforms, and with the tactical bombers, Japanese will usually start to take attrition, they will lose equipment, and you will be able to hold the Japanese. And with the time, you can switch all your factories when you research the guns too. These guns, 1939 guns, then you can put all your military factories except these 6 older all the factories that were on guns, you can put them on the newer guns, and with the newer guns and army reform out, you can push the Japanese even back. Another important thing is to take war resistance after you do the first army corruption, then war of national liberation and war of anti-imperialism. As the next focuses, you can do invited foreign investors, Bureau of Investigation and Statistics, which gives stability, financial policy, price controls. Grain tax is optional, it lowers your stability but gives you some consumer goods factories, and reform the national bank. If you do some focuses from like here which increase the inflation, I usually don't do them. Yeah. So that's all for this video. I hope you liked the video. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this strategy as China. If you have some strategy as Japan, how to break this strategy, push China. Um, if you want, I can even play out this scenario with you. I will take China, you will take Japan, and you can try to push me. I would be happy to do that. Yeah, so if you like the video, share it, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video below.